Good morning, guys. Good afternoon, wherever you are. Good day. I guess that's more the appropriate way of greeting. Welcome back again, and thank you for your feedback. I've had very interesting feedback from the first two sessions that I shared with you guys. Yeah, and we learn as we grow. I think just to recap, this is just about creating a dialogue for us to start having a discussion. So I appreciate that feedback because that means that we've achieved what I wanted us to do, which is creating a dialogue. However, today I've got two beautiful stories to talk to you about. Two gentlemen that actually came into my life at the right point in time. The topic for today for me is every leader needs a mentor. Let me just repeat that again. Every leader needs a mentor. So yeah, let's go for it. Again, our must have been very young. Down in the village, we had a gentleman that was a chief. We called him Hosi S.A.L. Mashamba. You see, the age gap between Hosi S.A.L. Mashamba and I just did the calculation this morning, was exactly 42 years. 42 years. So this is an interesting story for me because it talks to a number of areas that I think we probably have neglected over time. Not only was Hosi S.A.L. Mashamba my chief at the time, or my Hosi at the time, he was also, quite frankly, my cousin. You see, the thing about him, about relationships and managing relationships, even with the age gap of 42, he has never called me, and may his soul rest in peace, by a name or by my name. I'm sure he knew what my name is. I'm very convinced that he knew what my name is. But because my dad was his uncle, he always called me Malume. Malume. Never in a single day have I ever had him call me or my brother or any of our cousins by name. What can we learn from that? What can we learn from that? This is a relationship based on trust. This is a relationship based on respect. As years went by and as we were getting older, like any tribal chief, he will have a tribal council, a formal tribal council, and an informal tribal council. Now, I want to talk to you about the informal tribal council, which quite frankly I was part of. Yeah, believe it or not, young as I was. Here's what will happen. Every time people come to consult him in different matters, different family matters, and we just happened to be at his house, there was one thing that he will consistently do. One thing. He will ask that we remain. Let me repeat that. Every time families come through to consult on sensitive family issues, he will insist that we remain. Here's what will happen after all the discussions. One of the few things that he will ask us, he will say, what did you learn from that? What did you learn from that? And for that, I'm very thankful. And in that extent, I believe I was part of his informal council. I don't think, I think he deliberately made sure that we stick around, be there for him, and we become a voice of reason, young as we were. So every leader needs a mentor. But every mentor is also a mentee. And that is the story of S.A.L. Mashamba. Again, may his soul rest in peace. He was indeed a legend of our community. Few years back, I think 19 years ago, I met a gentleman called Skeks. You see, Skeks grew up in a township. He was born and bred in Soweto. And he brought that humanity and Ubuntu to the workplace. Skeks just happened to be my mentor in 2001 when I joined one of the international companies back in the days as a sales graduate program. Here's one thing that was consistent about Skeks. Young as I was, inexperienced as I was, he let me be. He let me make mistakes and learn from that. You see, Skeks will listen to understand. He will never judge you. As a mentor, he will listen to understand. Seek to understand. But Skeks, most importantly, bought into my success story. I don't think he felt pity for me. I think he identified an opportunity for him to grow and for him to impart his knowledge to be part of my success. So jointly, we had a common objective. The story about mentorship is that your mentor has to buy into your success. Your mentor must see the bigger picture. Skek's story is very interesting because a few years back, I then left the organization which we worked for, got an offer somewhere else. And you know, Skeks, if you didn't know, I actually earned double what Skeks was earning at the time in our previous organization. I didn't tell him that, so when he sees this video, I'm sure you get that as a confirmation. One thing though remain. Even as I was progressing in my career, I always regarded Skeks as my mentor. When I was about to make serious career decisions, I will reach out to Skeks, knowing very well that the role that I'm going to, Skeks is nowhere closer to that. But you see, he has built in comfort, he has built in a story around buying into my success to a level that I could trust him with any career decision that I made. Does your mentor do the same? What can we learn from the story of SAL and the story of Skeks? I've certainly learned a lot. These two stories inspired me to share. They inspired me to want to mentor more people, but they also inspired me to remain a student of the industry, to be a mentee to someone else. As I am, I always have a mentor. So here's some quick practical questions that I want you to consider. Quick ones. What is in your tribal council? Is that a formal tribal council, an informal tribal council, or an informal tribal council? Do they know that they're in your tribal council? In other words, are they aware of the mentor-mentee relationship that you have? If they don't, maybe take a pen down, jot down 2 or 3 things that you want to discuss with them the next time you meet. Does your mentor buy into your success story? If not, how can you get them to buy into your success story? Thank you again. I hope you get inspired by the story of SAL Mashamba and the story of Skeks. I hope you take a step back and ensure that you've got a mentor. I hope you take a step back and mentor someone else. But most importantly, I hope you start doing something about it. This is the nature of the dialogue. Today was really about mentorship. It was really a beautiful story about SAL Mashamba and Skeks that molded me to be a better person. And it's also a story about how we continue being students of the industry. I have a mentor. I'm a mentor to other people. I've got a tribal council, but I'm clear what I want from the tribal council as well. Enjoy your day and thank you for watching. Thank you, bye.